Hello, welcome to this video. If you're a Street Fighter fan, you should immediately know who I'm talking about. Yeah, so I just made this. I just decided to make this because I was really bored, and then I was looking for any Street Fighter 6 news, like DLC, upcoming characters, just anything new for the game because the game's fun. The game is really good. Good graphics, good controls, probably some of the best creative character options I have ever seen in a video game. I mean, like this is a creative character. This is really well done. For all its praises, it has received some of its criticism. Some of the criticism is warranted, like maybe certain things could be patched out with certain updates and whatnot. But then some of the criticisms it's getting is just, why? Like, I've seen people making big fusses over the additions in this game that I'm just like, have you played this series before? Have you actually sat down and played this series before? And this is coming from somebody who's played Street Fighter since Street Fighter 2. And yes, I have also played the original. It's not that good, but Street Fighter 2 is fantastic. But on to the thing, like some of the criticisms that Street Fighter 6 is getting, again, some are valid, but then some are just like, why? Why are we complaining about, like, let's start with the obvious. I've seen a couple people, by a couple, I mean a lot, especially on Twitter, especially on Discord, not that much in other platforms. I think sometimes on Instagram as well. Oh, and especially on YouTube. I've seen a lot of people complaining specifically about Eternity, the one the video is named after. And they're taking issue with Eternity being the host of the Battle Hub. And I've seen a couple people say, oh, that's not Street Fighter. Street Fighter is about street fighting in the streets, blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, that's still in this game. Have you not played the game? You're talking about a character whose screen time in the game is extremely minimal. You only get one cutscene from Eternity. And their only purpose in the game is to just explain the Battle Hub. That's it. That's all there is. And y'all are having a hissy fit over this, saying it somehow ruins the vibe of Street Fighter. And then I see the critique of, oh, this is Street Fighter. It's supposed to be like a street fight. I'm sorry, what street fights have you been in that featured Hadoukens or green skin animal men that light up with electricity? Oh, no. Let's take it a step further. What about 12? What about 12 from Street Fighter 3? The one that literally shapeshifts into the other fighters? Oh, and let's take it a step further. How about Gil? What Street Fighter are you going to go to that has someone who's half red, half blue, can fly, uses pyro and cryokinesis? Like, genuinely tell me, what street fights have you seen that feature all of these? Because I've not. They usually aren't that interesting. And if you think Street Fighter is an accurate representation of actual street fighting, then I don't know what to tell you. So that's the first thing. Street Fighter has never been realistic. It's never been a realistic game. And I've seen some people say that, Eternity is being shoved down your throats. No, he's not. Again, you only see him for a singular cutscene, and that's it. He's not even a major part of the game. And even if he was, who gives a fuck? Who cares? It's not changing your life. It's not affecting anyone else's life. I'm sorry, if you're turned off from a game because of a singular character's existence, let's just go down the line. First things first, Eternity isn't even a new kind of character for Street Fighter. We've had plenty of characters who have unnatural hair colors in the series. You know, Poison has pink hair, Remy has more bluish hair. Let's see. Like, we've had those kinds of designs before, and then I've seen people critique, oh, but he's fruity. Oh, but he's really feminine. Okay, and he's a TV host. He's a parody of TV hosts that are so over the top, so flamboyant, so colorful, so extravagant. This isn't new. This isn't new. Like, what is the complaint? That he exists? Like, what is the issue? And, you know, let's take it a step further with, you know, characters with Street Fighter that has featured in it that kind of destroy the whole argument of, oh, this is about street fighting, fighting to the death. Okay, they say it's street fighting, though. This isn't actually street fighting. Otherwise, we wouldn't have characters like, we would not have characters like Ingrid. We would not have characters like Blanca. Ken and Ryu would not be allowed in a street fight. Akuma is another one, too. Again, you're not going to be seeing people throwing Hadoukens in real life. You're not going to be seeing people doing spinning kicks. You're not going to be seeing people doing uppercuts where your hand catches on fire. You're just not. And I'm sorry, what street fights do you know that feature robots? You know, like Seth, 12, 11. What street fights do you know that feature those kinds of things? None. There's none. So that's already another thing that makes no sense to that argument whatsoever. And then I've seen the other criticism of oh, this is ruining Street Fighter because it's putting politics into the game. Politics have been in Street Fighter since its very beginning. They have made many American jokes, many Russian jokes, even some characters' endings that feature showing pride in their country. Like, there are political jokes that have been there since the very beginning. Just look at Zangief's original ending in Street Fighter 2. Like, there's been political stuff in Street Fighter since the very beginning. So that already doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And then I've seen people say they don't want any of that LGBT stuff here. Newsflash, sweetie, we've had LGBT characters in Street Fighter for a very long time now. Poison has been trans since her very first inception. Yes, even her earliest concept art, as much as people want to say, oh no, she was just said to be trans because the developers wanted to appeal to American sensitivities because they didn't think it was good to beat up on women. That is actually not true. If you look and actually do your research, Poison's earliest piece of concept art for Final Fight, which dated way before the game's release ever came to the States, she was labeled as a new half on her concept art. And that new half description transferred over to, many of her Japanese bios. So she's very clearly seen as a trans girl. Still a girl. You are correct in saying she is a woman, but you can still be a woman and trans at the same time. That's what trans women are. Doesn't change anything about Poison's character, and it never will. You want more open examples? Look at Look at Eagle. Eagle was one of the characters who got heavily censored when it came to Capcom versus SNK. Many of his Japanese lines refer to him flirting with the other male characters and rejecting any advances on the female characters. Juri is heavily implied to either be bisexual or lesbian, but her Japanese bio also states that she likes large breasts. And if you look at how she interacts with Chun-Li, she flirts with her pretty openly in Street Fighter 4. Her literal line of dialogue is, "Oh, it's like a schoolgirl crush" when she sees her. And that's just Juri. And even that, we've had characters who are genderless in the series as well, like 12, 11. Oh, Seth is another good example. Seth literally got changed into a woman for the 5th game. And people liked that change. So why is it so bad? Why I'm not seeing what the issue is with Eternity. Like, you would think this would be a character that'd be forgettable. You wouldn't remember them past the first cutscene, but y'all are giving the character attention by complaining about it, by saying that, oh, this character ruins the game for me. Okay, don't buy the game. The game still sold 2 million copies within the first couple of weeks. So the game's already set. The game's already gotten the sales that it needed, and it's only going to continue to get sales, especially with DLC. Like, you not buying the game, like, why do you have to announce you're not going to buy a game? You think a company is going to care? You think Capcom cares whether or not you buy the game or no? No, they've already gotten the money. This is really comical, because when people are complaining about this, you're also advertising the game. You are actively advertising the game because you may not like that character's inclusion, but you complaining about it is going to catch the eye of someone who does like that character's inclusion. And what's going to happen is you're going to get people who actually want to get the game even more. You're giving this game new fans. It's reminding me so much of the Lucky Chloe situation from Tekken 7, when a bunch of people were complaining about how she's not Tekken, how she's not this, how she doesn't fit the thing. But y'all's complaining gave the game free publicity, free advertising. And guess what? Tekken 7 is the highest selling game in the Tekken series. And that hasn't been achieved since Tekken 3. That is karma, girl. Karma. And then you get Street Fighter. You're doing the same thing. You're advertising the game. People want to get the game because, it's a good game. The graphics, you cannot deny the graphics look a lot better than the previous Street Fighter games. The controls, are they perfect? No. No Street Fighter game has perfect controls. Even some of the best games in the series have issues every now and then with the controls. But it controls good. It looks good. There's a lot of variety to choose from in the game, which is, you'd think that's something people would want, is variety. But no, variety for some reason these days is just seen as, oh, you're just trying to push an agenda. Why is it an agenda? Like, what agenda are they trying to push? That people like this exist? Street Fighter is a game about Street Fighters from across the world. From all around the world. And what happens is you're going to get people from all around the world, different cultures, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different nationalities, different orientations, different ways of speech. You know, you're going to get that stuff when you have a game that's been pushing for variety and diversity since its very first game. You're going to get that. Street Fighter and Tekken are very similar in that way, in the fact that they have pretty much had everybody of every different walk of life in those series, you know? Like, you think there would be a celebration that you'd have people from all around the world, you know, enjoying a game that they all collectively enjoy. Now, I've seen another example of people saying that this game is bad because of the inclusion of Marisa. Generally speaking, most people like her, which is good. But I've seen few people saying that, oh, it's bad. Oh, it's bad because agenda or whatnot. No, they've wanted to do a character like that for a while. Street Fighter is no stranger to producing exaggerated designs to an absurd degree. Abigail from Street Fighter V, very exaggerated design. Fang, also from Street Fighter V, a really wacky design. Blanca, very first game, always been pretty wacky design. Wacky is a good thing in this case. You know, we've had characters in the series that have been wacky, that have been silly, that have been over the top, that have been goofy. We've had plenty of goofy characters in the series with over the top physiques, over the top things. Like, I'm sorry, what person do you know IRL that looks like Zangief? What person IRL do you know that looks like Dhalsim? What person IRL do you know that looks like Chun-Li? What person IRL do you know that looks like? Because these are not characters with realistic proportions. These are characters who've had over-the-top proportions for years. It's like when a male character has over-the-top proportions, nobody says a word. But the instant you do it to a female character, suddenly it's woke, it's woke, it's woke, it's woke. Why? Why is it woke? Explain to me, why is it woke? Why is Abigail okay, but Marisa is bad? Why? Now, again, I am not saying the majority of people are saying this. I'm mainly calling out the people that are saying this. Because the good thing is majority of people typically don't care about Marisa's design, which is kind of refreshing, kind of good. But there are still those people out there that are quick to say that it's for an agenda, it's for a push, and all this stuff. And it's like, why? She plays good. She looks good. Her background makes sense. The reason for her design makes sense. There is nothing out of place with her at all. And then I've seen people complaining about the fact that they allow you to have a non-binary option in the character creation. Okay, what's wrong with that? It's a character creation. Shouldn't the idea of a character creator, a character creation, the idea is to create a character. And wouldn't a good character creation give you as many options as possible to have as much fun as possible, to have as much replayability as possible, to have as much creativity as possible? Isn't that the idea of a good character creation? Like, why is it a problem that you can have a non-binary option for the character? If you don't identify as non-binary, then don't pick the option. It's that simple. Who cares if you're creating a character? Like, if you want to create, you know, whatever character you want to create, that's the beauty of it. Create whatever you want to create. Who cares about an option that you don't even have to pick? You don't even have to choose that option. That's the beauty. Is you can pick whoever you want, create whoever you want, make whoever you want, and it will change nothing. It changes literally zero of the game's experience, no matter who you pick. That's why it's a character creator. But going back to Eternity, what is wrong with Eternity? Because with all of this stuff, I'd say Eternity fits right in. We've had over-the-top characters in the past. We've had over-the-top wacky personalities in the past. We've had over-the-top, overly peppy, overly energetic characters in the past. We've had characters who are Dan Hibiki is literally designed as a joke character. Like, I'm sorry, but not all the Street Fighter characters have to be these brooding, serious characters that everyone's looking for. It's like, if you're not into this, if it was just as simple, I'm not into this character because I'm just not personally fond of this character, totally fine. That is a valid opinion to have. But if you are just saying, oh, this character is bad because they're flamboyant, okay. What about Vega? He's been a flamboyant character since the very beginning. His main personality trait is being a narcissist who hates ugly people, wants to rid the world of ugly people. That's his story. Like, why? Like, what's the problem? What's the issue with what's the issue? What's the issue with Eternity? Why is Eternity bad? Because they host a mode in the game? Okay. You don't have to play that mode. You don't have to go there. You could just enjoy the game. Just enjoy the game. Like, if that's something that turns you off, don't even touch that story. Don't even touch that stuff. Is it really going to keep? And I looked at the only cutscene this character has is a minute long. You're really going to get pissed off over a minute of your life when you have so many other things to explore in the game? This is the first time since Street Fighter Alpha 3, the Game Boy edition, the Game Boy Advance edition, and the PSP edition, that we've had any sort of representation from Final Fight 2. We usually only get representation from Final Fight 1. The only other person we got from Final Fight 2 was Maki. Needs to come back, by the way. Love Maki. And we got a reference to Elisa, or Liza, as she was originally called, but she's called Elisa now, from Final Fight 2. They're actually, exploring their other projects. They're actually being creative with the world they build around you. The landscapes are beautiful. The graphics are beautiful. The story, nothing to write home about, but it's a good thing. It's a good story. It's a good game. And if it's just not your thing, totally fine. But if your only reason for not wanting to get it is because of the existence of a singular character, okay, bye. Don't buy the game. It's that simple. You don't need to be making videos about how much you don't like this character and how much it ruins the game. Don't buy the game. You think Capcom's going to care? No, they already got their money back. They already got the game selling well. They already got great reviews from the game. Okay. So Like, what's the issue? What really is the issue? That is what I would answer those people. What is the actual issue you have with the character? And don't just say politics. Don't just say, oh, it's shoving something down my throat, shoving something in my face. Like, what is it shoving in your face? How to play the game? The character's only line of dialogue in the game is talking about the battle hub. The character is not telling you how to identify. The character is not talking about identity politics. The character is not talking about how fruity they are or how flamboyant they are. The character is talking about the fucking battle hub. That's the character's only line of dialogue in the game is talking about the battle hub. Who cares? Who fucking cares? It's not that serious. It's so pointless. It's such a waste of time. But you know what? I think I've said everything I need to say. If I have anything else I want to say in the future, I might make another video on this. But for the most part, Capcom, you're doing a really good job with this game. Do not stop what you're doing. You're doing fantastic. It's obviously paying off for you in sales. And I like that you're being more creative with your games. I like that you're giving the characters more diverse designs, as you've always had. That you're continuing that diversity. You're continuing that variety, because it's always good to have variety. It's always good. And, you're doing good. I love this character creation. This character creation is some of the most, wow. I love it. I love this character creation. I want to see more like this for future games. Because in theory, character creation should be as expansive as possible, as creative as possible. Do as much as you want to the design as possible. You can change every proportion on the body, go for it. You can change the skin color from white, black, pink, purple, beige. Good. Love that. Choose any hairstyle you want, even better. Any gender identity you want, even better. Like that, it's a creative character. You're creating an avatar of you. Or just an avatar in general. Have fun with it. And I like that you're doing that, Capcom. It's reminding me of the character creation in Smash, also very diverse. They let you wear any outfit you want, regardless of the gender your Mii is set to. They let you wear any wig you want, anything. Like, they let you have as much freedom as possible, and I like that. So Capcom, you got my money. When I have money again, that is. But I like it. Good job, Capcom. Looking forward to seeing what you do in the future for Street Fighter. This is already starting to look like a very bright future, and I look forward to seeing what you can do. This has been Kunimitsu 877 signing out. Bye-bye.